Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in tonight's video I have yet another signing to talk about for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, for they have signed guard Earl Watford to, you guessed it, a 1-year contract. Actually, the first thing that I want to address before I start talking about Earl Watford and what he can potentially do for this team, I want to talk about all of these 1-year contracts that have been given out, because I've seen some people ask me, why are all these 1-year contracts a thing? Why is that a thing? Isn't that not a good thing? I think that it's actually a very positive thing financially, not just for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but also for the players as well, because it's beneficial to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because if the players don't perform up well in their contracts for that 1 year, you can let them go into free agency without having to be financially tied down to them for a couple more years to come. On the flip side, it's a positive thing for these players, because if they do end up playing really well under these current contracts, they can cash out in the next free agency, be it with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or going into the free agent market next year. They can cash out with other teams. You know, these are all prove-it deals. Literally, that's the point of prove-it deals, and there's a lot to prove for this new coaching staff. They're bringing in a lot of guys who have a lot to prove, and that's the point of prove-it contracts, okay? This is pretty cut and dry, you know? There's not really much more to say on that. Now, talking about Earl Watford, somebody who has been in the league plenty of years, has played for Bruce Arians before back in their time with the Arizona Cardinals, and then has bounced around to a couple of teams after that. I believe he was with the St. Louis Rams, and I believe he was also with the Cleveland Browns most recently. So all in all, he is a very long tenured veteran in this league, and it's a very positive thing in my opinion. He certainly has been good in some instances, a former draft pick of Bruce Arians at that, and he has had his very good moments along the offensive line. What position will he play? Well, I guess it would probably depend. He has played multiple offensive line positions in the past, and I could actually very likely see him have kind of a hybrid type role, playing both right guard, center, maybe a little bit of left guard, and maybe if he absolutely needs to, playing a little bit of tackle in some certain situations. So I could see him having a very versatile kind of Swiss Army knife type role for this Bucs offensive line. Now, I don't believe he is going to be a starter. I think he does have the potential to be a starter, and he could definitely, you know, work his way into a starting role. Maybe he's a fringe starter, something along those lines, but I don't really believe he's going to get the first crack at being the starting right guard. I still believe that that's going to go to Alex Cappa, since he was obviously the third-round draft pick last year, and he's obviously not going to be taking Ali Marpet's starting guard spot. So I think that we could really possibly see a competition between obviously Alex Cappa and Earl Watford develop for that starting right guard position, which is fine, you know, to sign somebody who knows this offensive line, who has worked with Harold Goodwin before. So him and Harold Goodwin know each other very well, and he can kind of help work with that offensive line and kind of teach all these offensive linemen what Harold Goodwin expects from the offensive line, what Bruce Arians expects from the offensive lines, and things like that. Maybe he can even take up a mentorship type of role with a guy like Alex Cappa. That might make him insanely valuable in my opinion, because if Earl Watford can, you know, personally get together with Alex Cappa and work with him, I think that that would be an awesome thing to see. You know, it would definitely make him be one of the more awesome veterans on this offensive line specifically. The thing that's going to be really interesting about this move is, could this potentially spell the end for a guy like Evan Smith? If you get rid of him, you clear up a couple of $1 million in cap space. Could very well be the case. We're just going to have to wait and see in the coming days what kind of cuts the Buccaneers make. I am very curious to see how much this contract is worth, because like I said in the last video, the Buccaneers do not have a lot of cap space. So I expect a cut, some type of release to be happening probably as soon as today, you know, March 16th. This is being recorded at 2 a.m. March 16th. So I expect some type of move to be done, you know, as early as today. You know, we're just going to have to wait and see, but it could be a guy like, obviously, it could be a guy like Evan Smith, could be a guy like William Golston, you know, one of those two guys, you know, who knows? We're just going to have to wait and see which kind of players get cut here, but should be interesting regardless. Maybe we see somebody get traded away. Who knows? But regardless, Earl Watford's on the team. He's going to add an awesome veteran presence to this offensive line. He might be a replacement for a guy like Evan Smith, and he also, I think, could be a really cool mentorship role, not just for Alex Cappa, since they're both going to be playing right guard, but also for the entirety of this offensive line, kind of teach them what Harold Goodwin expects from the offensive line. Him and DeMar Dodson, I think, would be really cool veterans to keep on this offensive line group, which is, you know, all good with me. I like this signing a decent bit. But let me know what you guys think about all this down in the comment section below. What do you think about Earl Watford, and what do you think he can provide for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as well as maybe a guy like Alex Kappa in terms of his veteran-y leadership type of role? But anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed. I'm sure we're going to be expecting a cut or here too in the coming days, especially since we just made a ton of signings. We're really low on cap space. Probably going to make a couple of moves here. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and as always, I'll see you in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.